Hello there, I'm Vieno and this is my third video tutorial on D3. In the previous video we looked at two basic methods of D3, and that is the select method and the append method. And what they do is, well, I guess kind of self-explanatory. We select elements with the select method and we add elements or append elements with the append method. And in the previous video we used those two combined to add a paragraph element to our web page, and the result looks like this. Right, so oops. In this, this is not very exciting, and this is not what D3 was designed to do. We want to create really cool visualizations, right? We don't just want to add elements that we could just as easily have added with simple HTML. So in this video we're going to take a look at something called SVG. Now SVG stands for Scalable Vector Graphics, and it's I guess you could call it a way to create two-dimensional graphics on our web page. Sorry. But before we start with that, let me just show you two real quick things here. Up till now we've written our D3 code in a single line like this. We can actually separate our methods with a new line like this. You can indent this however you like. So right now, it doesn't really seem to matter, it's legible anyways, but the more code we'll have, the better it will look to separate our methods using new lines like this. And also I want to show you how to add stylistic properties to our elements. Now there are two ways to do that. Well, actually one way. Let's say we wanted to change the color of this paragraph to red. Right now it's black, right? Which is the default color. The way we change the color is using the style method. Whenever we use the style method, we're affecting a CSS property of the element in question. So the style method takes two arguments. First of all, the property, which is color in this case, and the second one is the value. So let's say we wanted to make it red, we would type red here, and if we refresh, we'll see that the paragraph has turned red. And now there's another method to change properties of elements, and that is the attribute method, and you type it out like this. It's short for attribute, and this is attributes are the things that, for instance, this source thing here, that's an attribute. And you know, when you add a link, you type href, the href thing is an attribute. So yeah, as we use style to change the stylistic properties of elements, and we use attribute or attr to change the attributes of elements. Right, so with that knowledge, let's start creating some SVG shapes. In this part I'll show you how to create three basic shapes in SVG, and that is a circle, a rectangle, and a line. First of all, whenever we want to create SVG shapes, we start by creating a container or a canvas for our visualization. So you can't just add a SVG circle onto the HTML document directly. We have to provide it with a container of some, well, a kind of a canvas. So the way we do that is by appending a SVG element to our page, and it's really simple. It's just append SVG. And let's give it some properties. We need to at least specify the width and height. And you may be surprised by this. I mean, we are giving it CSS properties, right? This width and height of the canvas, but we're using the attribute method. And this is yeah, when styling SVG elements, we use the attribute method instead of style, and that has its technical reasons, but it doesn't really matter right now. Right, so we have our SVG container. Let's end this with a semicolon, and we can actually start to make use of a good practice, and that is assigning code snippets to variables. So let's assign this appended SVG element to a variable. If you haven't worked with JavaScript before, you may not know what a variable is, but it's really simple. It's just a short form for whatever is on the right side of the variable declaration. So canvas in this case is representing this code right here. So let's start by creating a circle. We can first of all create a new variable to hold our circle element, and instead of typing out D3 select and so on again, we can just start by typing out canvas, since canvas is the same as this code right here. Canvas, and we append something to our canvas. We append a circle, and let's give it some properties. First of all, we want to give it the horizontal position, and that is done using the CX property. C stands for center, I think, and X is, yeah, the horizontal coordinate. So CX, let's give it a CX property of value of 250 pixels. So it will be positioned in the middle of our SVG container. And let's give it the same property for the vertical position, and let's give it a radius of 50 pixels. And yeah, we can also give it a color. And in SVG, we don't use the colors are not called colors. We use the fill property. So the fill will be, let's say, red. And let's save and refresh. And you can see that we have a circle. So let's speed this up. Time is running out. We want to create a rectangle. So the same way as we did when appending our circle, we create a rectangle like this, and we give it similar properties but not the same properties since it's another shape. A width of 100, height of 50, let's say. Yeah, let's settle with that. And since SVG is created, it starts drawing in the top left corner, since we haven't assigned any coordinates to our rectangle, it will be drawn in the top left corner. So let's refresh, and as we can see, we have a rectangle. Now let's wrap this up by creating a line. We create a new variable, and we append a line to our canvas, and this takes let's see, we start by giving it the first horizontal position, the first vertical point, let's say 100, and it moves to the second point, which will be 400, and y to, let's say, 400. And we have to give it a stroke so that we can actually see it. Let's say green, and let's give the stroke a width so that it's really visible. Stroke width will be 10, and let's refresh, and you can see that we have a line. and I think you probably understand what these properties mean. The x1 is the first horizontal position or point of the line, so that will be, yeah, the furthest to the left, right? This is 0, and the first vertical position is 100 pixels from the top, this distance here, and then the second point where the line goes to is 400 pixels to the right, and that is this distance, and the same for the distance to the top. So yeah, that was a short introduction to SVG and how you create SVG shapes using D3. In the next video I don't know what we'll do, but something even more interesting, I bet. So see you then.